Reawaken to your immortal identity and discover life between life's wisdom. Presented by the Michael Newton Institute.
Hi, folks, and welcome back to part 2 of my ongoing dialogue with Dr. Jigna Sampat in Dr. Michael Newton Institute's Wisdom Series, the podcast that I love to host. I find each discussion so full of learning, there's so much of experiential wisdom. And we are in this dialogue with Dr. Jigna Sampat, a lady who is quite a powerhouse in the world of finance in the Middle East today, and is coming with a huge amount of experience from across the globe. She's been part of the Big Four. She is part of the Big Four, if I may say so. And Dr. Jigna, welcome back. I am very, very keen to know that the more I'm listening to you, I'm picking up a very holistic approach, if I may even say a very spiritual approach, which you're taking into the world, which is very, very earthly. When I think of money, or I think of wealth, or I think of prosperity or abundance, there is something very earthly sitting there. But in my understanding, there is obviously a very large spiritual connotation to it. How do you bridge this? Because in your conversation, that's what's coming across. How did you join these two? Is there any story that sits here?
I'm thinking about it. Can we take 5? Yeah. I'm grappling a bit with this one, Indrani. Tell me what to say. Is there a specific story that you want?
No, you tell me, because take 2. Dr. Jigna, when you were sharing your journey till now, and in the world that you are working in, your world is the world of finance. And standing outside as a layman, my understanding of the world of finance means there's a lot of hustle bustle. There's obviously a whole lot of high energy work, but which is in a very, very defined, structured world, which we are dealing with money or commodities or investments or pricing, and all these terminologies that we listen to when we're listening to business news. That's your world. That's the world that you're coming from. That's the world you represent. And while I was listening to you talk, one thing that's coming across to me is that there is a beautiful, enhanced consciousness of spirituality, if I may say so, that's present in you. Even when you said that whether I get it or not, it's a relationship that's getting created. The relationship is for you possibility. This is what I picked up from you when you were talking, which means if it isn't coming through with something material now, it will come through with something tomorrow. And you're functioning with that very broad perspective, broad outlook. It seems like you're sitting with a big picture all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. How do you weave this element of spirituality or expanded consciousness, if I may say so, or this awareness, this knowing into your daily work?
Right. So accountability and accuracy are very important in the line of work that I'm in. And, of course, you can make mistakes, but sometimes there will be ramifications for those mistakes as well. So working with awareness of what you're doing and, making sure that you're not consciously overlooking something is important. And to me, focusing on something, giving it your, absolute attention has always been a form of meditation. right? In my line of work, staying on top of new regulations is something that I must do in order to be a good advisor. And if you know anything about the Middle East, you know that regulations are being issued at breakneck speed in the Middle East right now. And so on top of having a full workload, we also have to stay on top of the new stuff that's coming out. I'm just giving you one example of how I find myself getting lost sometimes in the detail of the regulation. And before I know it, an hour has passed and I've been subsumed into the text. And so to me, that's really how spirituality and consciousness and my work blend together, because my work is actually, in a way, my meditation is in a way where where I can go, where my mind is completely focused on something, is where I feel the most calm, actually the most tranquil while I'm working in the zone.
You actually kind of summed up what we think of when we say work is worship.
Yes,
You're
precisely.
in your elements there. You're in your elements.
Yes, precisely,
So,
yes.
so I'm very curious to know. You're a person who's worked in the Western Hemisphere. You've worked in the US, you worked in London, you worked in India, you worked in Saudi, you worked in Dubai, you worked literally across the globe. As a woman and as an evolving individual in your world, and I ask this not from a man versus woman question, but just as a woman, from your perspective, through your eyes, when you worked in these different parts of the world, what have you picked up, or what are the life lessons that today you put together in your basket that makes you the powerhouse that you are?
I'll tell you my most current or most recent observation in this regard, and then work backwards from there. It's an amazing time to be a woman in finance in the Middle East, actually. I am astounded when I go to meet clients at both, the numbers of women I'm seeing working in finance, as well as the depth and breadth of the knowledge and the experience that they've already enjoyed. This is perhaps a perception of the Middle East that is not quite accurate in the rest of the world, but we know what we're doing, and we just need to give it some time, when the rest of the world will. Obviously, I mean, we've been given the opportunities and we're in these roles, which means that a lot of the world already sees our worth and our potential. And I also feel that being women, not to make any generalizations, but we are detail oriented. We do care about the little stuff. And so not to be apologetic for that ever, because that also has its space in the professional world, right? I used to make a joke about this, that in my line of work, I don't have much scope for creativity. So as an analyst, my spreadsheets were always beautiful and color coordinated, right? But although I joke about it, if I'm going to spend time color coordinating my spreadsheets, and I'm going to make sure that everything in it is also correct and accurate, and that's held me in good stead. The key learning, or the big picture view from having worked in 4 continents, is that the broad themes of challenges that we as women face in the professional world are not different. It doesn't matter, where you go. There's always going to be this guilt factor that you impose on yourself, that if I'm giving too much here, there's not enough left of me here. And since I need to give in these 2 forums, forget about taking time for yourself. But we cannot do that. I guess if I have to give anybody any advice, it would be that you really, really just absolutely cannot not take care of yourself. You must take care of yourself first, and find whatever it is that fills your cup, and make sure you do it every day.
It is very true, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
So to
Absolutely.
be a person who wants to provide or cooperate or contribute in whichever role that you are going to put yourself in, you first make sure that your cup is full, or at least it's being filled regularly. Only then can you pour from it.
Right.
And I think one of the biggest things, Dr. Jigna, which I think a lot of women probably will resonate with, is this fine balance. It's literally like a dance on a daily basis that women go through, because there are sociocultural, conditioning that people have grown up with, are living with. There are these implants and imprints and associations that show up in our behavior. So the more and more one is feeling that sense of emancipation, the need for this balance is very, very keenly felt. And to be balanced, those two beautiful words that you used, so right, awareness and accountability. So to be in a space of awareness and then also understand the balance accountability brings, because you're accountable at every level. You can't be accountable only at work or only at home. You're also accountable to yourself. So
Yes.
for anybody, and I'm not saying it's just for a woman, even for a man, all the roles that you have chosen to live in this life, creating that balance and being accountable to that balance with a space of awareness is, I think, what consciousness is all about.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Completely
So,
agree.
so Dr. Shikna, I'm also very curious to know that you're a mother of two young boys, and one of the things that I think layman, I'm a layman from your world. One of the words that we keep hearing is that there's so much of that cutthroat competition or that hustle that comes into the world of finance, wheeling, dealing, all these terms that we get to hear. And yet, as you said rightly, there's so much of regulation, so much of laws, so much of structure, specific boundaries that you have to live with. It's enabling an individual, I feel, and I think in every walk of life, one goes through it, where at times you are at a crossroad where you have your own value system, which is very individual, very personal, and then you also have this uh, this road in front of you. And you could be at a crossroads, so there are multiple roads, and you're kind of choosing which road to walk on. Have you ever, in all your journey till now, ever had to face these kind of crossroads where you had to talk to that inner you who is sitting with those set of values? Like, was there anything that you had to change, anything that you had to realign? Just want to know, how do you do this, or how did you ever have to do it?
Uh, two different answers to your question, Indrani. So, have I ever been at a crossroad where I had to think about what was important for me and, make a choice, a conscious choice, and be aware that there would be consequences of that choice? Yes, absolutely. From a career point of view, I've had to do that. Um, I I had to take a brief break from consulting and go do something else for a little while, because I chose at that point to prioritize being a mother and being, having a bit more balance in my life and having more time to spend with my little children. And then I found myself at a crossroad again a few years later when an opportunity had come knocking on the door, and my younger one was still quite young. And I had to think about, well, if I don't take up this opportunity now, will another one come by again? And if I go ahead and make the choice to return to consulting, which has its rigors and demands, to do it consciously, that I will, there will be times when I'm not going to be able to show up for a school performance and not be able to help with homework sometimes, and I'm going to have to be okay with that. It's a daily struggle, and I live it on a daily basis. I don't say that it's done and dusted, but again, being kind in the voice that plays in my head, being kind to myself with the voice that plays in my head, is something that I'm learning to do. When you talk about the value system and choices placed in front of you, absolutely. I mean, that happens on a daily basis, but there's no compromise with the values. There's a set of values that we work with, and um, the level of those does not fall. In terms of the way that we interact with people, in terms of the way that we conduct ourselves from a right and wrong perspective, the effort that we bring to the table, and the way that we think about a problem. Really, everything is governed by a set of values and rules, and you don't compromise with that.
Wow, You've shared something so beautiful because we will always be tested. Our lives, the lives that we
Yeah.
live, all of us at some point or the other will be tested. But I think one of the most important statement that you made, which is really hitting my heart, is learning to be kind to yourself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that kindness is exceptionally important because we are schooled or we are programmed to sometimes be extra critical of ourselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you bring that kindness, and you kind of focus it inwards, that kindness actually creates self acceptance. And that self acceptance, as you said, a little while earlier, you can reach that point saying that, you know what, I can only do my best, and that's the best I can do. And how it's being judged or perceived by others, that's to a large degree their story. But in your space, in integrity, with that accountability and awareness, when you're with that space of kindness, doing the best you can for yourself and for others, you do create for yourself that sense of ease that allows you to function on a daily basis and be able to, it's like a tightrope that you're walking. So,
Yeah.
you're kind of managing the balance. And
Yeah.
for a woman, and that too, a young mother, you got two young children, a family, a career, and yourself. And the beauty is that you did not let Dr. Jigna step aside. You did not let Jigna aside. She's very much part and parcel of your priority list.
Yes.
That is so beautiful because I'm quite sure it's very challenging at times, and you're being able to
Yes.
maneuver and navigate this road very well.
Absolutely. There are
And
days when mommy is predominant, and then there are days when, the professional is predominant, and then there are days when I'm just taking some me time. But it averages out.
yes, yes. Uh, Dr. Jigna, is there anything that you would like to share as a message, as a few words of encouragement for our viewers? Because you are bringing two beautiful, if I may use two different polarities of human existence, the spiritual and the material, and you're so beautifully meshing it together. And this life that we have is about acknowledging these dualities and polarities and being able to create a very I would say unique fabric, because each of us mesh it differently and weave it differently. So in the fabric that you are weaving, because it's an ongoing process, any encouragement or any word or anything that you would like to share with our viewers?
Yes, Indrani, I would like to say that, what has really helped me in my journey is that it sounds like a bit of a cliche, half full versus half empty glass, but until you're viewing your world as plate full of challenges, that's all that's coming your way. And when you start to have gratitude for everything that's going well, you have more things start to go well for you. And there's no doubt we're going to have challenges, and whatever comes your way, just knowing that you have in you the capability to cope with it in a way that the outcome will be the best possible outcome for yourself, um, and being grateful for that ability to begin with then allows you to take on the world. We have families that we're grateful for, great parents that have given us every opportunity, so much that if we just pause and breathe in and think about um, you know what lies in front of you as a challenge is easily surmountable with the tools that you already have within you.
So true, because what gratitude does is it changes the way we look at even a challenge or an obstacle and
Yep.
see it as an opportunity for connecting to our higher potential.
Yep.
Dr. Jigna, I can't thank you enough, truly.
Well,
And I
thank you
know,
so much for giving me the opportunity, Indrani, to come and speak with you.
thank you. I just want to say a big round of thank you, gratitude. I'm grateful, grateful heart. And on behalf of Dr. Michael Newton Institute, I want to say that we're very grateful that you gave us your time. You shared your experiences with us. And I'm quite sure that our viewers who are listening, who have experienced this session with us, will go away feeling encouraged, motivated, inspired, that one should have dreams, one should be, if I may use the term, committed to their dreams, and then along the way have faith. I love these words
Yes.
that I'm taking from you: to have faith, to live in awareness, be accountable, and just make sure that lovely cake that you bake is just completely iced with gratitude. Thank you,
Perfectly
Dr.
described.
Thank you so much. And thank you, viewers. Keep listening, keep watching. Do like, do share, and send in your comments. And if there's anything that you want to share, which is a part of your journey that resonates with Dr. Jigna's, please write in the comment section below. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Indrani. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.